Binge-worthy. Scouts say prospect will be star, but question is, how fast? So let's binge watch and talk all things Carson Benge with Michael Barron, executive editor of Just Mets. Mike, thanks for hopping on with this, my man. All eyes are on the Mets' top prospect, Carson Benge. He's David Stern's first ever draft pick as the Mets president of baseball operations back in 2024, but he only has 56 games played above single A ball. So there's one roster spot open for another outfielder, and he's going to have to compete for that. So make a case on why Carson Benge will be on the roster on opening day.
Well, I think there are two things. One, he fits the criteria for the way David Stearns wants to build it, i.e., pave a way for his young prospects to have a chance in the major leagues. That's number one. Number two, obviously, he's a top 1-2 prospect in the system at this point. He's a left-handed bat and would help create a little bit more balance in the lineup for them. But also, when you look at his game and his player profile, he makes a lot of contact, doesn't strike out a lot. He has a high hard hit rate in the minors. I think they'd like to see, his chase rate improve a little bit, but he also doesn't strike out a lot. So I think when you put all three of those things together, he fits what the Mets are looking for in the outfield perfectly. And of course, you want good stories and you want your prospects to make the team. So I think those are the three things that help make a case for him. But like you said, he lacks experience, and he struggled at AAA in a small sample late last year. So, I think they want to see good at-bats from him this spring. And, probably, I don't want to say he's immature. He's not immature, but they want to see a mature player who's ready for the major leagues, coming, towards the end of camp.
Yeah, if he makes this roster as well, it makes the Mets look good because we talked about how good their farm system is. So, that would be it's a win-win situation for them. You kind of alluded to it a little bit already when it comes to the inexperience. So, continue to make that case on why he won't make opening day roster. You think he's got some flaws that could be exposed in the majors this spring training?
I actually don't. I think it's going to depend on how he handles right field defensively in Grapefruit League games when they start. I think could be, one challenge for him. I think the other could be how other players such as Brett Beatty respond to, work in the outfield and, how he hits. Beatty is always has great camps. So, perhaps that trend will continue, but he has to perform too. And if he doesn't, that'll only improve the chances for Carson Benge to make the team. I don't see Carson Benge making this team, as a part-time player or platoon or anything, because I think, for top prospects especially, they have to play. And if he's not going to play in the majors, and because they think Beatty's a better fit, they want to do something with Tyrone Taylor and a platoon with him, then I think that'll result in Carson Benge ending up in the minors to start the year. But I think the chances are pretty good that he's on this roster, especially with the designated hitter. They can always have Brett Beatty platoon with Mark Vientos, in a designated hitter role. So there are multiple paths for Benge to make this team.
So what do you think the Mets starting outfield is going to look like on opening day, and how confident are you that is a championship-like outfield?
That's a good question. I think, I don't want to say, well, everybody has to stay healthy. Of course, everybody has to stay healthy. But assuming everybody stays healthy, I do see Benge starting for this team on opening day, along with Luis Robert Jr. and Juan Soto, going around right to left. So, again, people have to stay healthy, of course. But I see Beatty more in that utility role that they spoke to him about earlier in the offseason when they got Bichette. I think he's going to moonlight at third. He's going to moonlight, perhaps in both corner outfield spots. I could even see him getting opportunities at first, over the course of the year, because they're looking at him in that Jeff McNeil type role where they can just plug him in anywhere and not worry about him. I don't think they want to move Benge around left to between the corner outfield spots. I think they'd rather just have him start to feel comfortable in one position. So I think the Benge will fit in at least project at this point on February 13th as the opening day right fielder. But, we'll see. I mean, again, it's going to have a lot to do with how he performs, how Beatty performs, and so on and so forth.
It's definitely a story that we're going to be keeping our eye on throughout the course of spring training. Mike, thanks for hopping on with this, man. We'll definitely be coming back to you pretty soon.
Of course, anytime. Thanks for having me.